So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, welcome back to Football Heritage TV, wherever you are, wherever you're from. And this video is coming to you from a very, very sunny Turkey, where it's going to be 36 to 37 degrees at some point today. And I'm not complaining about it, I love it. But the question is, do you love the Champions League squad announcement that took place yesterday? Do you love that? Now, I'm seeing a few grumblings of players that have been left out. Not sure why, but we'll talk about it. And to be fair, there was no one else to add. There was no one else to add into the Champions League squad. We talked a lot, didn't we, in the last few days about did Spurs do enough in the transfer window? And a lot of people going, oh, you're moaning, Savvy, you're moaning Spurs fans for suggesting that we needed more players. But the Champions League squad suggests that we were 100% right. So what happened with the Champions League squad announcement? Well, let's start with the obvious. We knew, didn't we, that Thfc, who's out until, depending on the reports you believe, December, January, February, we know that he won't be able to make any of the Champions League 8 league games. He won't be able to make any of that stage of the Champions League. So it was obvious that he wasn't going to make the Champions League squad. So there's nothing to really talk about on that one. But he can be eligible should we qualify for the latter stages, for the knockout stages. Then we go to the other obvious one. James Maddison, out for the season or until March or April, so essentially the season. Makes sense, no need for James Maddison to be in there. Then you go to the one where it was Woody, wouldn't he, Willie, won't he, Radu Dragusin. Now Radu Dragusin, depending on reports you believe, back in training in the next couple of weeks. Then it's going to take him at least a month to get up to any sort of speed. So by the time you get to there, you're at the end of October, beginning of November. And I'm guessing that Thomas Frank would have looked at this and said, well, I've got Davis Van de Ven on the left, I've got Dan Romero on the right. Worst comes to worst, Archie Gray can do a job for a game in there, which is not ideal, but hey, what's the chances of losing all 4 centre-halves? He says through gritted teeth. What's the chances? I don't know. So we will see. We will see. Then we come to the 3 that have been left out. Let's start with Taco Takai. I'll get it right in a minute. Taco Takai. So Takai, we know, highly rated out of the Japanese league. We saw Johan Lang talking about him, saying that we've been following him for a while, that we believe he's got the right attributes in the future to be a top centre-half at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. But right now, he's injured. Now, I'm going to surmise, because that's all I can do. Again, you guys and girls know me well enough by now. When I say things, I don't ever say definites. I don't know. Is the injury worse than we first thought, and that's why he's not in the group, in the league stage of the Champions League? Was the plan for him to ever be in there? Maybe they don't think he's ready. Maybe he was due to have a loan. I don't know. All of these different things. What I do know is he's being left out. So again, that's what we're left with at the back. So Takai and Dragusin both not making it. Vuskovic has gone on loan, as has Dorrington, as has Ashley Phillips. So you're left with the 4 and a possible Archie Gray to cover should we get a lot of injuries. Then you look at who's the other ones that have been left out. So there's the 3, there's Takai, Yves Bissouma. Now, every part of me says Yves Bissouma is leaving in the next 8 days. And the reason I say 8 days is the Turkish league and the Saudi league, I believe their transfer window shut on the 12th of September. It's the 4th of September today. I believe that he will move on from this club. We tried to sell him before to Turkey, but the deal fell through because of injury. I believe that he doesn't want to be here. I believe that he is surplus to requirements and that he will be leaving the club very, very shortly in this window. So I believe that that is why he is not in the squad. So it makes sense. Listen, I was having chats with people yesterday who said I can't believe Bissouma is not in and Gray is, but the only thing I can think of is that Bissouma doesn't want to be here. And Spurs want to get some money for him because in January he can sign for foreign clubs for free. So that kind of makes sense on the Yves Bissouma front, right? Now, Matisse TEL. The amount of talk about Matisse TEL in the last 3 months, the last 9 months to be honest, has been frightening. Lots of people going, oh, give him a chance, he's young, he'll come good. I see a player in there. If I hear that one more time, I see a player in there. I've not seen anything. I've watched him at Bayern Munich. I've watched him now for 9 months at Tottenham. I don't know what this guy does. And Spurs, instead of getting 40 million from what Bayern Munich owed us for Harry Kane, instead we took TEL. What an absolute waste of a signing that looks to be at the moment. Now, I can't predict the future. I don't know. He could become the world's greatest left winger. I don't know. But right now, the fact that he is behind Brennan Johnson, who's not a left winger, and Odegaard, who predominantly in his career is more of a right winger, the fact that TEL has been omitted from the Champions League squad behind those guys speaks volumes. All the people who told me Thomas Frank wanted TEL, poor player ID, Thomas Frank wanted him, well, clearly not. Clearly couldn't have wanted him that much. He's left him out of the squad. This is a strange signing to me. It always was. I never ever looked and understood why are Tottenham signing TEL for all of the players across Europe. You think you could have got Malik Fofana for 40 million. You could have got Malik Fofana, but we went for TEL. It does grate on me. People are saying moaning, Sava, give him a chance. My mate Kobe, a few others in the chat always say, give them a chance, see if they sink or swim. We're Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League. Is that what we're here for, to give people a chance, or are we here to compete? So, at this stage, I'm going to ask the question, are you surprised at TEL being left out, at Bissouma being left out, at Dragashin, at Takai? Are you surprised at any of these players being left out? Then, what we do know is this, is that the Tottenham Hotspur Champions League squad is only 22 men strong, and that is because of the homegrown problem at Tottenham. Now, we know that the rules are very different for the Champions League, and we know that the rules are very different for the Premier League. But in the Champions League, Tottenham have a huge homegrown problem. We have one club-trained player in the squad, which is Brandon Austin, our third-choice goalkeeper. And it's a bit of a mess. This is why one of the things I was saying in the window is get an Elliott on loan, get Grealish on loan, bring in Lookman, get some of these homegrown footballers that can add to your squad. But hey, people didn't want that. People didn't want that. The club apparently didn't want that. And we're left with what we've got. Now, 22 players isn't the end of the world, of course. However, 4 or 5 injuries, suddenly you've not got a squad to put out for a match day. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this pans out. Now, I'm going to leave it there, but I'm interested to know, any surprises for you guys? Was there anything announced that you went, oh my God, I can't believe it? Would you have put TEL in? If you would, who would you have left out? Because it would have meant leaving out Kudus or Odegaard or Johnson or Simmons. Who would you possibly leave out? Or Kolo Muani? So with that in mind, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts. 22-man Champions League squad. Happy? Sad? Should anyone have been in that wasn't? I can't think who. Should anybody have been left out that was included? Let me know your thoughts. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.